good guys. I'm a good guy, which means I generally don't lie, but I just did to you. You and David Rosen were a problem. You know who we are, and you know what this is, and don't pretend you don't.
Oh, yeah, he was slapping my wife in the face with I had to defend my wife at a bar. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? This man was being highly, highly disrespectful, slapping her in the face with $20 bills. He was drunk, and I was sober, so it was kind of, I had my patience about me for about 45 minutes. My mom killed my dad, or who I believe was my dad.
3 months ago, like what I was doing, I was going to, I would book myself at the Hermitage, Lama Hermitage, because I just love that spot. Yep. And I could write, I could just be at peace. And, but I was so frustrated when I was there. I wasn't on drugs, I wasn't there partying, I didn't have, by myself. Just wanted some clarity. And I had this moment where I was like, F it. I ran the bathtub. Yep. Turned on the bath. I was looking around in the room. I was looking around the room like, how do I do it? Can I hang myself? I was like, I turned on the water. And I was like, I turned on the bath water and let it fill up. And I got the water. And I was just gonna go under and not come up. And my phone rang. It was the producer, Erica Malone, the producer of the Remember Me movie. And I had to answer her call. I was like, hold on, pause on killing yourself for a second. Let's answer to see what Erica Malone's talking about. And she just said, Columbus, I don't know what's going on with you. Wow. I haven't talked to her. She doesn't know nothing. She said, but God told me to tell you right now you were. She spoke life into me while I was trying to put death on myself. And as she was talking, she kept talking. I pressed the thing and the thing started draining the tub. She saved my life.
Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what happened to Columbus Short?
You're a crackhead and you're a wife beater.
I mean, 1 minute the man's killing it as a star on Scandal.
And I'm not a baby lawyer.
And the next, it's like he's vanished from the industry altogether. How do you go from being the man of the moment to practically a ghost? It's almost like Hollywood just went, Columbus who? But let's be real. These didn't come out of nowhere. And it wasn't exactly unexpected. 'Cause if you've ever thought, how can someone's life be literally more dramatic than a show named Scandal? Then look no further. From his alcohol addiction and 3 messy marriages to him going to jail and getting fired from Scandal.
I will apologize every single day if that'll make things better.
Columbus Short's life story goes from shocking to heartbreaking real fast. Okay, so there's no denying it. Columbus Short is crazy talented. I mean, from Save the Last Dance.
It's a form of cross-cultural communication. It's a lifestyle, a language, a fashion.
To movies like Quarantine and, of course, Scandal.
Down. We have an officer down. I need an ambulance immediately.
Do not try to leave the building. This will all be over shortly.
The man has for sure worked his magic on all of us at some point. But despite his incredible acting skills, his life story is so crazy that his scandal started before his birth. Columbus Short was born on September 19, 1982 in Kansas City, Missouri. And well, let's just say his mama was wild.
Hey man, my mama tore up Kansas City. I'm not gonna lie.
She was bad.
Jeanette Bentley tore Kansas City apart. And if anybody know Kansas City, from 1982, she tore that motherfucker.
You might be asking, what could she have possibly done for me to call her wild?
My mom killed my dad, or who I believe was my dad.
Oh, who you believed to be your dad.
Columbus Keith Short Sr.
Yep, almost 3 weeks before baby Columbus was born, his mom legit unalived his dad. What? How crazy is that? What's even crazier is she was somehow able to avoid jail time.
So I was going to be born in jail, but they worked it out. However, whatever she did, they worked it out, got her out, and sent us to California.
And after all that mess, I don't think I need to stress that his childhood wasn't exactly rosy.
We was kind of just on our own, me and my mom, you know what I mean, out here struggling. Then she, she got remarried, had my brother. So then she was single again. So it's like 2 kids. And we were just moving a lot, man. We were like gypsies, you know what I'm saying? So I lived in the hood. We was living in Inglewood. We lived in Santa Clarita, out in Canyon Country. We lived in, Compton. I mean, everywhere.
Luckily for Columbus, he was a talented guy who could dance, act, and charm the socks off anyone. So by his early teens, Columbus was already killing it on various commercial campaigns. And before we knew it, my guy was touring the world with the Broadway show Stomp. I mean, at this point, it goes with no saying that Columbus was on his way to being the next big thing. But boy, did it all come crumbling down. Let's start with his work relationship with Britney Spears, or more like what led to the absence of it. Okay, so Columbus was out here using the fact that he got into the industry at an early age to his advantage, right? With his career taking off, he was able to become Britney Spears' creative director.
I believe in manifestation, too. When I was 17, I left and went on tour with the show Stomp, Tampa, Florida. It's like 3 a.m. I'm rolling on ecstasy. And I'm with some of my cast members, and I walk by this Britney poster. She's holding a Pepsi can. It's like a cutout. And I walk by this Britney poster, and I'm like, I'm going to work with her one. And everybody's laughing at me. They're like, what are you talking about, bro? They're like, you're high. 2 years later, I'm her creative director, choreographing her tour.
And at first, everything was going great, but things quickly turned left. According to Columbus, the pop princess had chased him relentlessly for months. And during one wild night in Rome, he finally gave in. Yup, the duo hooked up.
You know, when I was choreographing and creative directing for Britney Spears, we smashed.
What? You hit Britney?
I smashed.
But here's where things get messy. While Columbus swore it was just a one-time thing, Britney's parents weren't having it. They couldn't fathom what Britney saw in him, and to make matters even worse, the rumors kept swirling about the duo being in a relationship. Of course, that didn't sit well, and before long, Columbus saw himself booted out of the Spears inner circle. Yikes. But here's something you could have never predicted. Not only did Columbus have a wife, she was pregnant the whole time he had an affair with Britney. I mean, it's one thing to cheat, but cheating on your pregnant wife? That just stinks. And while we are on the topic, why don't we spill the tea on Columbus' super messy love life? In 2001, Columbus gave marriage a chance for the first time by tying the knot with a woman named Brandy. But guess what? By 2003, their marriage was done and dusted. Fast forward to 2005, Columbus gave marriage yet another try, and this time, it was tabloid headlines popping in our faces for all the wrong reasons. Think about everything that could go wrong in a marriage. Yep, that's exactly what happened between Columbus and his second wife, Tanny McCall. Tanny filed for divorce twice during the course of their marriage. But girl, the second time is where the tea's at. Sis was ready to let it all go after he allegedly put a knife to her throat and threatened to end both their lives.
And I'm reading the order. It says I threatened to kill her, threatened to kill my daughter, threatened to kill myself, I've abused. Next thing you know, that's on TMZ. It's all over the thing.
After taking a no-jail plea agreement, Columbus pleaded guilty to misdemeanor domestic violence. He eventually got let off the hook with just 30 hours of community service. But after all that drama, it's no surprise that their marriage finally hit rock bottom in 2013. Now, before putting all the blame on Columbus, he also had a thing or two to say about their marriage. From her being toxic to her infidelity, Columbus spilled all the tea in a 2021 interview with Mike Tyson.
As I was getting bigger, my world was like
crumbling.
In my personal life, and like everything in my world was controlled, and I didn't even realize it, right? And who was in the middle of it? She was. So she was, she was sleeping with. I'm working 15 hours a day, 5 days a week. I'm never home. So she was doing her thing, but one particular dude she was messing with was a blood, or connected to the blood. I had knocked out his cousin at a basketball court, and I didn't know it was all connected. So, she's threatening my life. She's, we're going through all these changes, and Scandal was like, you need to get away from this girl because she's completely toxic. So I finally got the balls to be like, it's over. You know what I mean? Get your stuff, get out. You know what I mean? Yeah, I was a coward. I was a coward.
Okay, so one violent episode with one person? It's like, maybe she really was the problem. But trust me, honey, that was just the beginning of Columbus's history with violence. Columbus still got sentenced to 3 years of probation, 2 months of community labor topped with mandatory anger management counseling after he reportedly beat up one of his male in-laws in a bar fight.
I had to defend my wife at a bar. You know what I mean? This man was being highly, highly disrespectful, slapping her in the face with $20 bills, doing too much. And it got to the point, it got to that point. I had to defend myself. But then now he's my nephew's uncle. He was drunk and I was sober, so it was I had my patience about me for about 45 minutes until he put his arms around me, dragged me outside, tried to big boss me.
Right.
And then took his jersey off, came at me, and I had to end it. That's it. Oh yeah, he was slapping my wife in the face with
slapping your wife in the face.
Like talking about, I got that. I don't make as much money as your man, but you know what I'm saying. But I got big. Do stuff for me. Like he was on that crazy.
Right. That's right. We got it. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like that. He was on that tip, and it was really uncomfortable. People were getting uncomfortable. It was like, and
so did you try to check him right there? It was like, okay, man, you getting out of hand.
That's exactly where it started.
Okay. Talk about a never-ending saga. But just when you thought the drama couldn't get any juicier, boom! Come 2016, Columbus is at it again, giving love yet another spin. And who's the lucky lady this time? None other than the queen of video vixens herself, Corinne Steffens. Now Columbus and Corinne together? Oh, honey, it was chaos from the jump.
Nobody has anything to say. Nobody has anything to say. Oh, hi, Columbus. You okay? You feeling okay? Okay.
After filing a temporary restraining order from him and multiple allegations, including threatening her 18-month-old, their relationship crumbled.
I mean, the last year and a half hasn't been the greatest headlines.
Do you have any regrets? Anything you wish you'd done differently?
I wish I would have loved myself sooner.
But hold up, because Columbus wasn't done spinning the marriage wheel. Later that very same year, Columbus walked down the aisle again, this time with Ada Abramian. And if you were on the fence about whether Columbus was the problem in his previous relationships, this might finally clear that up for you. In 2018, their marriage turned physical, and Columbus got arrested for domestic violence. But after his many run-ins with the law, especially with him being on probation from the bar fight, he wasn't going to be let off easily this time. He got sentenced to jail for a year. Yes, a whole year. Luckily for him, though, he served just 34 days.
Every single day I prayed that prayer. And I'm supposed to be in there for a year. And so one day, I literally prayed that prayer in the morning, and the jailer came, and I went from a time in that time for the first 3 weeks where I was like, I hope maybe I can get out. Maybe I can get out. Mm-hmm. Then I had to just sit in it, like I'm gonna be here. And as soon as I did that, my most exciting day of the week was Monday, because I get to get on my commissary. You know what I'm saying? I had a little small piece of change on my books, you know what I mean? So I was ready for my stuff. And the jailer came over to my thing. He said, what would you give up for your commissary? I'm like, absolutely nothing. And he was like, what if I told you were getting out?
But trust me, girl, he sure had a lot of tales to tell.
And they looked, it was like, that's homeboy right there, that's him right there, stomp the yard, And I was like, so the deputy, this Christmas, right? So the jailers was like, who are you? And I'm like, I don't know, this Columbus Short. So they end up taking me over thinking like, I guess I'm a Crip, right? A good time in there, because it was like I was talking to my people, and to see that them dudes was like straight up real hardened Crip, you know what I mean? Real criminals, you know what I mean? Like, hey, cuz, for real though, you ain't supposed to be in here, my nigga. We looking up to you, you know what I'm saying? We watching you, and it was like a real awakening in there. They were like, man, we don't want to ever see you back in here. Shameful. I was ashamed.
Here's where you might be thinking he for sure learned his lesson and became a better person, right? Nope.
What have I learned? I've learned a lot. I've learned so much. I've learned one, if you cannot wake up every day, look at yourself in the mirror and be proud of who you are, you got to do some work. you have a higher requirement and responsibility. You know, you can't go party at the same place everybody parties at. You can't be out past curfew doing irresponsible things. You have to be the leader. When everybody else is doing this, you need to be in the books and studying the plays, looking at the team that you got to play next week, preparing yourself, leading your team into battle every week. And I think that was like on Scandal, that was what I was trying to do, you know, Carrie and I. Together.
At least not before there was a repetition of yet another domestic violence incident in 2022. This time, Columbus claimed she punched him in the face first, although there was not a single scratch on him. But guess who had injuries, though? Yep, Ada. He got arrested but was later released after he posted a $50,000 bond. And one thing about Columbus, it's that he always has an excuse. He came to social media to clear it all up and tried to downplay the whole thing.
I asked my wife to leave the home. Due to my frustration, I grabbed her phone, which I shouldn't have did, and I scratched her hand. You know, after post OJ, you know, the police came here, the detectives were here. It was a whole like just ridiculous thing. They had to make a decision. They didn't want to take me. They didn't want to take her. But they had to make a decision, and based on that scratch, I went to jail. So I'm sorry for anybody that I let down. I'm sorry for anybody that I let down. I'm grinding. I'm working hard.
Now that we've established that Columbus's personal life was a train wreck, you must be wondering, what about his work life? Was that a mess too? You don't even know half of it. Let's talk about how this man got himself booted from one of the biggest shows on TV. Scandal.
It is bittersweet, man. That is exactly the way to call it. I think it's bittersweet. But I did love what I did on Scandal, you know what I mean? I had a great time with them, Kerry Washington, you know, Shonda, and the whole cast was just, that was family, you know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, you know, that road ended.
Well, turns out all the drama spilled into his work. In between Tanny accusing him of trying to kill her, his drug battles.
When I was on Scandal, I was on a show called Scandal on ABC, and I was going through some challenges and, you know, personal home challenges, also with drugs. And in order for me to come back for season 3, like Paul Lee, the president of the studio at the time,
and his legal issues, there was just so much scandal, no pun intended.
As ABC is concerned, I think you look at it as like a presidential campaign. If there's some stuff that's kind of messing up the campaign, you start losing support. And it's just sometimes people have to distance themselves. It's business, you know what I'm saying? But honestly, I was ready to go.
It wasn't long before Miss Shonda Rhimes was like, nope, not on my watch.
How did you feel when Shonda Rhimes, you know, basically let you know that you had to leave the show?
I mean, it was kind of a long time coming. It was just like, at the time, what was going on was just so ridiculous. So I had to go to jail, and it was ridiculous. You know what I mean? All over something erroneous. I never put my hands on a woman, ever.
She yanked him off the show quicker than you can say scandal. No pun intended. Again. And honey, ever since, Columbus' career has low-key been shelved by Hollywood. Of course, he won't admit it.
Has it been hard for you to find work?
No, because I create my own work.
But you and I both know his glow has not remained the same. Oh, but here's the part that will have your jaw on the floor. Columbus talked about Diddy trying to hit on him. Yep, you heard that right. With all the tea spilling on Diddy these days, a whole lot of celebrities have had a lot to say, especially on signs they noticed but brushed off until now. And that includes Columbus. He gave his firsthand experience of Diddy asking him to hang out at 2 a.m. Talk about being sus.
So about 2:30 in the morning, 2:15, 2:30 in the morning, phone rings, is an unknown number. I don't answer unknown numbers. But, you know, my wife looking at me like, and put it on speaker. Yeah. I picked it up. I say, who is this? It's Sean. I'm like, Sean? It's Puff. I'm like, oh, what's good? So I was like, hey, what's good? I said, what's cracking? He said, we didn't see you tonight at the BET Awards. We didn't see you tonight. He said,
he checking in.
He said, what you doing? I was like, oh man, I'm at the crib. He said, oh yeah, we over here at the he said, I'm over here at the Beverly Hills Hotel. I said, oh, for real? I said, who over there? Just me.
What? Come on, man. That man ain't saying. You serious?
He said, just me. So my wife, but now I got smoke in my house. So my wife looking at me like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't know. This man just called me. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Oh, this next one had everyone, especially black women, up in arms. And trust me, rightfully so. Columbus stepped completely out of line, basically throwing out this wild generalization.
These women are black women, were raised by single mothers, absentee fathers that are either incarcerated, dead, or just gone. Their mama said, you don't need no man. You can do it by yourself. So that energy comes into the home. They're not, what you talking about? Unless you giving me this, doing that. There's no respect of the man, the black man, by black women. And black women do not be mad at me.
They're going to be mad, trust
I'm not
me.
talking about all of y'all. I'm saying
They're going to be mad.
There's a majority of you guys that was raised without a father,
Now,
so you have no respect for that.
Excuse me? What? Boy, stop. Like, who asked for that take? After all the lawsuits, the legal battles, and being secretly blackballed, Columbus Short's net worth took a serious nosedive. According to recent reports, his net worth is estimated at around $1.5 million. Now, I know that sounds like a lot to you and me, but for someone who was starring in hit movies and TV shows, that's pennies, sis. For context, when he was on Scandal, he was making around $75K per episode.
I lost my job. I'm making $75,000 a week, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm doing well for 24 weeks out of the year. I'm like, now I've lost my job on ABC. Disney ain't having that headline saying I'm an abuser, I'm a killer. Like, that was a complete lie.
He's still trying to make a comeback, but let's be real, it's not going to be easy to rebuild after all the damage he's done to his career and reputation. So where is Columbus Short now? Well, he's been trying to clean up his image. He's released a couple of projects, like music and some smaller acting gigs.
Ain't gonna make no apologies, but your body is calling me.
But nothing close to the level of success he once had. He's also opened up about his struggles with addiction, saying that he was dealing with drug abuse during the height of his scandals.
When I was on Scandal, I was on a show called Scandal on ABC, and I was going through some challenges. And, personal home challenges, also with drugs. And in order for me to come back for season 3, like Paul Lee, the president of the studio at the time, the network said, he has to go to rehab. And it was the best experience I've ever had in my life.
Honestly, it does seem like Columbus is trying to turn things around. But the question is, will Hollywood ever let him back in? Or is he too far gone? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, Columbus Short's life is the definition of a Hollywood heartbreak. From losing his spot on one of the biggest TV shows to getting tangled up in legal messes, it's hard not to feel bad for the guy. He had the world in the palm of his hand, but life came crashing down in the most dramatic way possible. And that, my friend, is the tragic tale of Columbus Short. Let's hope he finds some peace, because Lord knows he's been through it.